Nicole Brown Simpson, ex-wife of O.J. Simpson, was found after midnight on the sidewalk outside her West Los Angeles home. Next to it, the body of an unidentified 26-year-old man. Both had apparently been stabbed.
On June 12, 1994, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman were brutally murdered in Los Angeles. The case quickly became a media sensation, with the whole world watching as the police dug in to find the truth. But the biggest shock was the prime suspect. O.J. Simpson, a beloved former football star and actor who also happened to be the ex-husband of the victim, Nicole Brown, was the prime suspect in the murder investigation. In the heat of the drama, the country was divided over whether or not O.J. was guilty. But in time, it became clear that this was more than just a murder case. It was a trial about racism, inequality, status, and the American justice system. What followed was a media circus and one of the most shocking verdicts in American history. This is the twisted case of O.J. Simpson. Very early in the morning of June 13, 1994, at about 12:10 a.m., the lifeless bodies of Nicole Brown, a 35-year-old mother of two, and Ronald Goldman, a 25-year-old restaurant waiter, were found. Discovered by two neighbors who were concerned by the incessantly barking of Nicole's dog, who then led them to the crime scene. At first, they saw blood flowing out of the sidewalk, and then just in front of Nicole's apartment, they found both Nicole and Ronald down in the pool of their blood. The neighbors called 911, and in no time, the police made their way there. The murder scene at Nicole Brown Simpson's home was extremely gruesome. Both Nicole and Ronald Goldman had suffered multiple stab wounds. There was a large amount of blood at the scene, and some of Nicole's personal items were found scattered around the area. Both victims had defensive wounds on their hands, indicating that they had tried to fight off their attacker. It was clear that a violent struggle had taken place before the murders.
The evidence suggests that when Nicole came out of her door, and we're going in slow motion, that she was approached by O.J. Simpson, who hit her on the head numerous times. Then after she is down on the ground, then Ron Goldman walks up, and when he walks up, an altercation between the two of them, the glove comes off, and then goes back to Nicole, and then picks up her hair, cuts her throat from left to right.
How the attacker managed to single-handedly stab a healthy man and woman to death still remains surprising, and it left thoughts of a possible accomplice. The attack was complete, but a lot of evidence was left behind at the crime scene. The police found a knitted hat, a bloody footprint, and a blood-stained glove at the scene, which would later play crucial roles in the trial of the possible suspect. Investigations started immediately, and in no time, O.J. Simpson was announced as the #1 suspect. Orenthal James Simpson, commonly known as O.J. Simpson, is a well-known footballer and actor. O.J. Simpson was born on July 9, 1947 in San Francisco, California, where he grew up and attended high school. After high school, he played college football at the University of Southern California, where he was a star player. He then went on to have a successful career in the NFL. After retiring from the NFL, O.J. Simpson became an actor. He appeared in several movies and TV shows, and he also worked as a football commentator for NBC and ABC. He was a popular commentator and was considered to be one of the best in the business. However, his career was cut short by allegations of murder. O.J. Simpson married Nicole Brown in 1985, and they had 2 children together. But their marriage was considered to be rocky and volatile, and in 1992, Nicole Brown filed for divorce. To the police, their divorce was a likely motive as to why O.J. Simpson could have had something to do with the death of his ex-wife. From the events before that day to the activities after, everything was complex, but investigations into the crime revealed a trail of evidence that pointed fingers at a very few number of suspects, chief among them O.J. Simpson. So, here's how it all started. January 12, 1994 at 6:30 p.m., Nicole, her children, and others arrived for dinner at a restaurant called Mezzaluna. After dinner at 9:15 p.m., Nicole's sister called Mezzaluna to say that her mother had left her glasses there. On hearing this, the restaurant waiter Ronald Goldman, who already knew the family, goes to pick up the glasses. Between 9 to 9:30 p.m. that day, Brian Cato, a friend of O.J. Simpson who was staying with him in his guest house at that time, was at McDonald's for dinner with his friend O.J. Simpson. At 9:45 p.m., Cato and O.J. returned home. A few minutes after they returned home from dinner, around 9:48 p.m. to 9:50 p.m., Ronald Goldman left Mezzaluna for Nicole's house to return the glasses they left there. He put the glasses inside a white envelope. Investigators believe that the main attack took place at about 10:15 p.m. According to neighbors, at about that time, Nicole's dog started barking, crying out for help, seeing that his owner was in danger. Nicole's neighbor confessed to having heard the bark of the dog while he was watching TV, but didn't give too much meaning to it. While all this was going on at Nicole's, at exactly 10:25 p.m., a limousine driver named Alan Park arrived at OJ's as planned. Turns out OJ was scheduled to leave on a red-eye that night from Los Angeles to Chicago at 11:45 p.m. At 10:40 p.m., OJ's guest Cato heard 3 loud thumps on an outside wall of the guest house he was staying in, and from that time to 10:55 p.m., Alan Park, the limousine driver, kept buzzing OJ's intercom several times, but there was no answer. Just before 11 p.m., it was reported that the limo driver said he saw a shadowing figure that was 6 feet tall and 200 pounds walking across the driveway towards the house. At that point, it was unclear if he became scared or he simply didn't give what he just saw too much of a thought, but at 11 p.m. he went back to the intercom, and after buzzing it this time, O.J. Simpson answered. O.J.'s excuse was that he had overslept and had just gotten out of the shower. This made some sense, so it was believable. Besides, Alan was there for his job, so he ignored it and went on with the plan. At 11:45 p.m., O.J. departed on an American Airlines flight to Chicago. O.J.'s house was just a stone's throw away from Nicole Brown's house, so around 5 a.m. the next day when the victims were discovered, detectives arrived at O.J.'s house, and there they found some key pieces of evidence. While detectives were at O.J.'s residence, Detective Ron Phillips called O.J. to inform him of the death of his ex-wife, and his response was rather suspicious. Just after the news was broken to him, he asked, "Who killed her?" At this point, detectives expected a shocking response from O.J., asking what might have happened or how she died, but instead, they became suspicious that he might have carried out the attack himself. Because how did he know that she was killed and didn't die of an accident or an illness? O.J. returned to Brentwood after his conversation with the detective and was questioned for 3 hours by the LAPD, but was later released.
After a conference with Simpson's attorney Howard Weitzman, Simpson was released from the cuffs and taken to police headquarters for questioning.
4 days later, on June 17, 1994, O.J. was charged with 2 counts of murder, but he famously did not surrender to the police. He decided to run, and soon enough, he was declared a fugitive. In his attempt to escape that same day, O.J. was spotted on the freeways of Southern California in his white Ford Bronco, while his friend Al Callings drove the car. There was a low-speed police chase that became a very famous part of the case. While the chase was going on, homicide detective Tom Lane called O.J., asking him to surrender peacefully, but this request was ignored. The chase later ended in O.J.'s home in Brentwood, and there he surrendered to the police at 8:51 p.m. Inside the car, the police found O.J.'s passport, a fake mustache, spirit glue, and a gun. These findings were rather funny because it would be dumb to think that he could actually board a flight without being noticed just because of a petty camouflage. It's more like putting a fake mustache on a celebrity and expecting to go unnoticed at a public gathering. While it's unclear whether or not O.J.'s friend was arrested, Al Cowling later explained that he didn't stop the car even after the warnings from the police because O.J. had a gun pointed at his head, asking him to keep driving.
Distraught, with a gun to his head, O.J. Simpson is on the run and threatening to end his emotional pain with a bullet.
He claimed O.J. was suicidal and even showed the police the suicide notes O.J. wrote. In the note, he thanked those who meant a lot to him, and then he went on to profess his innocence and undying love for his ex-wife Nicole Brown. He claimed he had nothing to do with her death and also said that he loved her and would always do. On June 24, 1994, the grand jury was rescued from the case. This meant that they were no longer involved in the investigation, and it was up to the district attorney to decide whether or not to charge O.J. Simpson with the murders. The 6-day preliminary hearing was a crucial moment in the case. During the hearing, prosecutors presented evidence against O.J. Simpson, including testimony from police officers who were present at the crime scene. Some witnesses, among which was Nicole's neighbor, who heard the dog's loud bark, and also Alan Park, O.J.'s driver, who gave a description of the person he saw. A description that was really close to how O.J. looks.
Can you describe the person that you saw? Was that the first point at which you saw the person?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe what he looked like, what that person looked like?
That's the form of that question you're
6 foot, 200 pounds.
6 foot, 200 pounds?
All dark clothing.
And could you tell anything else about this person?
No.
Could you tell whether the person was Caucasian or African American?
Black.
And how, in relationship to when you saw Cato Kalin, when did you first see this person?
It was almost simultaneously. It was seconds after I saw him.
And this 6 foot, 200-pound African-American person in all dark clothing, was this person moving quickly or slowly?
Not quickly, not slowly. A good pace walk, it seemed to be.
And moving in what direction, sir?
Into the house, or towards the house.
Did you form an opinion as to whether this was a male or female?
No.
And when you saw that person, did that person walk into the entrance?
Yes.
After that person walked into the entrance, what did you do?
I then proceeded to, I was still talking to Dale at the same time. I said, somebody's here. He said, fine, finish the job, take him to the airport, and I'll see you tomorrow or whatever. I hung up the phone, and I still waited it was about another 30 seconds or so before I got out of the car. But before that, I was still waiting for somebody to open the gate. I figured somebody was going to come open the gate for me.
Okay.
They still didn't.
Also, the testimony from the forensic experts who examined the evidence. The defense team also had the opportunity to cross-examine the witnesses and challenge the evidence. After hearing all of the evidence, Judge Kathleen Kennedy Powell ruled that there was sufficient evidence for O.J. Simpson to stand trial on 2 counts of first-degree murder. After the preliminary hearing, O.J. Simpson was officially charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. At his arraignment on July 22, 1994, O.J. entered a plea of absolutely 100% not guilty. This meant that the case would now move forward to a trial where a jury would decide whether or not O.J. was guilty. Judge Lance A. Ito was assigned to hear the case, and the trial was set to begin in January 1995. At this point, the best thing O.J.'s team thought to do was manipulate. If you can deny the evidence, then you'd be free, right? All eyes and thoughts turned to Detective Mark Furman. On August 18, 1994, O.J.'s defense team filed a motion to obtain the personal records of Detective Mark Furman. Detective Furman was one of the lead investigators on the case, and the defense team believed that his records would contain information that would help their case. Specifically, they were interested in any records that might show Detective Furman had a history of racism or misconduct. This motion would set the stage for a major controversy that would come to dominate the trial. Detective Mark Furman was one of the first officers to arrive at the crime scene on the night of the murders. He discovered a bloody glove at the scene, which was later matched to O.J. Simpson. He also collected other evidence, including DNA samples. The defense argued that Furman planted the glove at the scene and that he tampered with other evidence to frame O.J. Simpson.
He was not a suspect initially when we went on the property. But once the glove had been found, he most definitely became a suspect.
This became a major controversy during the trial, and Furman was forced to testify about his past use of racial slurs. This testimony damaged his credibility and helped the defense to create doubts in the minds of the jurors. Prosecutor Christopher Darden and defense attorney Johnny Cochran argued over the racist language that Mark Furman had used in the past. This was a crucial issue because the defense was trying to argue that Furman had planted evidence and lied under oath, and they believed that his racist views were relevant to the case. Meanwhile, the district attorney filed a motion to sequester the jury. This meant that the jury would be kept isolated from the public and the media during the trial, to prevent them from being influenced by outside sources. This was a controversial move, as it would mean that the jurors would be cut off from their families and friends for the duration of the trial. Even though O.J. Simpson was facing 2 counts of first-degree murder, the district attorney said that they would not seek the death penalty. This decision sparked controversy and speculation as to why they made this strange decision. Some people thought it was a strategic move to avoid a trial that would be bogged down by lengthy discussions of the death penalty. Others thought it was a sign that the district attorney did not have enough evidence to get a conviction. In the unfolding drama of the O.J. Simpson trial, September 19th marked a pivotal moment as Judge Ito delivered a significant ruling. The judge upheld the legality of the police search conducted at O.J. Simpson's home shortly after the murders, a crucial victory for the prosecution. The defense had vehemently argued that the search was illegal and sought to exclude its findings as evidence. However, Judge Ito's ruling affirmed the proper conduct of the search, ensuring that the gathered evidence would play a role in the impending trial. As the legal proceedings progressed, November 3rd saw the culmination of an extensive jury selection process. The final panel of 12 jurors was meticulously chosen, each member holding immense importance in shaping the dynamics of the trial. The composition of the jury, with 8 members identified as black, assumed heightened significance due to O.J. Simpson's widespread popularity in the African American community. With the trial already under intense public scrutiny, the diversity of the jury added an extra layer of anticipation and interest. These early developments set the stage for a trial that would captivate the nation, laying the foundation for the intricate legal maneuvers and public spectacle that would define the O.J. Simpson case. After the 12 members of the main jury were selected, an alternate jury was also chosen. This alternate jury would only be used if one of the members of the main jury had to be excused from the trial for any reason. The alternate jury was composed of 7 women and 5 men of various racial backgrounds. Even though they were not expected to participate in the trial, the alternate jurors still had to follow all the rules and restrictions of the main jury, such as avoiding news and media coverage of the case. In a surprising move, the defense team decided to waive their right to a hearing on the admissibility of the prosecution's DNA evidence. This evidence was seen as crucial to the prosecution's case, and the defense's decision to waive the hearing led to speculation about their strategy. Some people thought that the defense was trying to avoid drawing attention to the DNA evidence, while others thought they were simply trying to speed up the trial. On January 11, 1995, the jury in the O.J. Simpson trial was sequestered, meaning they were isolated from the outside world and required to stay together until the trial was over. This was done to prevent the jurors from being influenced by the media or outside information. During this time, the judge also held a hearing to determine whether evidence of O.J. Simpson's history of domestic violence would be allowed at trial. As scheduled, by January 24th, the trial opened in Los Angeles with prosecutors Marcia Clark and Christopher delivering opening statements. On January 27, 1995, O.J. Simpson's book, I Want to Tell You, was published. The book was controversial, as it was seen as an attempt to influence the jury and the public. In the book, Simpson denied killing his ex-wife and claimed that he was being framed by the police. He also claimed that he had been a victim of domestic abuse at the hands of Nicole Brown Simpson. The publication of the book was seen as a desperate attempt by Simpson to control the narrative of the case. On February 3rd, the O.J. Simpson trial delved into a poignant testimony as Nicole Brown's sister, Denise Brown, took the stand. In a raw account, Denise detailed O.J. Simpson's history of abuse against her sister, recounting instances of physical assault and chilling threats that underscored the gravity of the case.
Thank you. You said he had a bizarre look, a faraway look?
He had a very faraway look. It was actually really kind of spooky. It was a frightening look.
Ms. Brown, when you last saw your sister, what was her demeanor?
She was happy because we'd made so many plans to go do stuff. We were going to take the kids on a camping trip. We were going to go to Yosemite. We were going to go to Club Med. We were going to just do everything with the children.
Following this emotional testimony, the trial entered a crucial phase as the jurors embarked on a visit to O.J. Simpson's home in the Bundy Drive crime scene. This immersive experience provided the jurors with a first-hand understanding of the location central to the case, shaping their perception of the events. However, the trial took a contentious turn during Detective Mark Furman's cross-examination by defense attorney F. Lee Bailey. Furman vehemently denied using a racial slur, particularly the highly offensive N-word, within the past decade. This testimony not only raised doubts about Furman's credibility, but also emerged as a pivotal element that would reverberate throughout the trial. As the defense continued to scrutinize the evidence, LAPD criminalist Dennis Fung was cross-examined by defense attorney Barry Scheck. Fung's acknowledgement of procedural errors introduced a layer of complexity, casting doubt on the integrity of the evidence and the overall investigative process. These concessions added fuel to the legal intricacies unfolding in the courtroom as the defense meticulously challenged the foundation of the case. The combination of Denise Brown's impactful testimony, the jurors' first-hand exploration of key locations, Furman's credibility crisis, and Fung's admissions created a tapestry of legal drama that would define the O.J. Simpson trial's narrative. On May 4th, 1995, a wrongful death suit was handed to O.J. Simpson on behalf of the Goldmans, adding a significant legal dimension to the already high-profile trial. Things kept coming up, and next was the commencement of DNA testimony on May 10th, 1995, followed by a pivotal moment on June 15th when Simpson tried on the infamous bloody gloves, which appeared not to fit. Subsequently, on July 6, 1995, the prosecution concluded its case. Soon after, on July 10, 1995, the defense introduced its first witness, Arnell Simpson, the daughter of O.J. Simpson. This was a crucial phase in an already complicated trial process. In August and September 1995, the O.J. Simpson trial experienced several twists and turns. Prosecutor Marcia Clark initially requested Judge Ito's recusal, only to change her stance a day later. Controversy surrounding Judge Ito's possible conflict of interest led to the request for recusal. Tensions also rose when Furman's tapes were played. Furman's refusal to answer questions and legal battles over jury instructions. The prosecution conditionally rested and both sides concluded their cases. In the late stages of September 1995, defense attorneys Cochran and Scheck delivered the defense's closing arguments. Cochran's remarks, including a controversial comparison of Detective Mark Furman to Hitler, added intensity to an already charged courtroom atmosphere. The case then went to the jury on September 29th, initiating a period of anticipation and speculation. Swiftly, on October 2nd, 1995, after less than 4 hours of deliberation, the jury delivered a seismic verdict stating that O.J. was not guilty on the 2 counts of murder. This momentous decision reverberated across the nation, controversially concluding a trial that had gripped the public's attention for months. However, the legal saga persisted, as on October 23, 1996, a new chapter unfolded with the commencement of a civil trial in Santa Monica. The jury, reflecting diverse backgrounds, set the stage for O.J. Simpson's testimony on November 22nd. Despite vehemently denying the murders, Simpson struggled to provide satisfactory explanations for the damning evidence presented against him during the trial. Later that month, Simpson was awarded custody of his children by an Orange County judge, underscoring the complex intersections of his personal life with the ongoing legal battles.
Why should custody have been changed now to someone who is accused of the wrongful death of the children's mother? Whether or not Mr. Simpson is found by a jury to have murdered Nicole, the fact that he is a convicted wife batterer means that he may present a risk of harm to these children, especially because he has never fully acknowledged the specifics of the violence that he inflicted on Nicole.
This period encapsulated the intricate aftermath of the criminal trial, with Simpson facing a new set of challenges in the civil arena. The courtroom dynamics, Simpson's testimony, and the custody decision collectively added layers to the enduring narrative of the O.J. Simpson case. On January 10, 1997, Simpson was back on the stand, and by January 16th, both sides rested after a lengthy trial featuring 101 witnesses over 41 days. A few days later, on January 21st, Daniel Petrocelli was the lead attorney representing the plaintiffs, the family of Ron Goldman. In the civil trial against O.J. Simpson, delivered a pointed closing argument declaring, "There's a killer in this courtroom."
Ron and Nicole were butchered by their client. Do any of you believe otherwise? You have seen the evidence in this trial. It is overwhelming. This is not now the Furman trial. This is a trial about the man that murdered my son.
On January 22nd, Robert Baker, a lawyer who played a key role in O.J. Simpson's defense during the civil trial for the wrongful deaths of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman, countered that statement in defense. The jury's decision on February 4, 1997, found Simpson liable and awarded plaintiffs $8.5 million in compensatory damages, concluding a complex legal chapter. In March 1997, O.J. Simpson was ordered to surrender assets, including the 1968 Heisman Trophy, a Warhol painting, and golf clubs. By July 14, 1997, the Brentwood estate was auctioned and demolished. In June 1998, Simpson appealed the wrongful death award, leading to the Browns and Goldman families dividing auction proceeds by November 2, 1998. By May 1999, negotiations yielded a custody arrangement with the Browns, and in August 2000, O.J. Simpson relocated to Florida for asset protection. In September 2007, the court seized his book, If I Did It, later published as If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer, using proceeds to settle the civil claim. This transitioned into a stark turn of events on October 3, 2008, as O.J. Simpson faced legal consequences. Simpson was convicted of assault, kidnapping, and armed robbery in connection with an incident at a Las Vegas hotel room. Simpson's claim of retrieving sports memorabilia added a layer of complexity. The court's sentence of 33 years marked a significant chapter in Simpson's already tumultuous legal history and his troubled life.
All right, Mr. Simpson, in addition to the $25 administrative assessment and the $150 DNA fee, I'm going to sentence you as follows. Count 1, conspiracy to commit a crime, 1 year in the county jail. Count 2, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, a minimum term of 12 months, max term of 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. Count 2 to run concurrent to count 1. Count 3, conspiracy to commit robbery, a minimum term of 12 months, max term of 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. Count 3 to run concurrent to count 2. Count 4, burglary while in possession of a deadly weapon, a minimum term of 26 months, a maximum term of 120 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. Count 4 to run concurrent to count 3. Count 5, the first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon, a fixed term of 15 years, parole eligibility beginning after 5 years, with a consecutive 12 to 72. That'll run concurrent to count 4. Count 6, first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon, a fixed term of 15 years with parole eligibility beginning after 5 years, with a consecutive 12 to 72. That'll run concurrent to count 5. Robbery with use of a deadly weapon, a minimum term of 60 months, a maximum term of 180 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections, with a consecutive 12 to 72, and again the enhancement because of the increased harm that the gun posed. Count 7 will run concurrent to count 6. Count 8, robbery with use of a deadly weapon, a minimum term of 60 months, a max term of 180 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections, with a consecutive 12 to 72. That'll be concurrent to count 7. The assault with a deadly weapon, a minimum term of 18 months, a max term of 72 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. That'll run consecutive to count 8. Count 10, minimum term of 18 months, a max term of 72 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. Count 10 will run consecutive to count 9. Credit for time served is 64 days. That concludes today's sentencing. We are adjourned.
But fast forward to 2017, a beacon of light shone in his direction as the Nevada Parole Board decided to grant Simpson's request for parole. In October 2017, with certain restrictions, Simpson was released from prison. Over the next 4 years, he split his time between Nevada and Florida, navigating life with the constraints imposed upon him. On December 1st, 2021, a significant chapter in O.J. Simpson's life closed as the Nevada Parole Board granted him an early discharge.
O.J. Simpson is officially a free man tonight. He was granted an early discharge from parole by the Nevada Parole Board.
At the age of 74, Simpson emerged as a completely free man, marking the conclusion of his legal entanglements. This decision marked the end of a complex journey, encapsulating decades of legal battles and bringing a sense of finality to his legal saga. In conclusion, the O.J. Simpson case stands as a complex and highly scrutinized chapter in legal history. Its twists and turns have captured public attention, and the courtroom proceedings have left an enduring mark. From the tumultuous highs and lows to the gripping twists that defined this enigmatic story, O.J. Simpson's journey remains a testament to the unpredictable nature of justice. Thanks for joining us on the long and captivating journey as we explored the twisted case of O.J. Simpson. We hope you enjoyed the video and also picked up and learned a thing or two. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get more videos just like this one. Also, leave us a comment in the comment section. See you in our next video. Bye.